You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. I am Daniel.
I am Clint. Welcome back, everybody. Guess whose smiles have not changed in the 24 hours since we did the last podcast? These two guys right here.
I don't see how they could have, Clint.
They can't change because nothing has changed in my demeanor.
Has your team given up 14 points in a game yet?
Nope.
Okay. Did your team just win by the largest margin of victory in SEC history or some other sorts of nonsense like that?
Yep.
Does your team have a top 10 matchup this week in which they are an 18.5 point favorite?
My team does.
Okay. Well, why would you not be smiling?
I'm smiling ear to ear, and you should be too, UGA fan. Hey, thanks for making us your first listen of the day. And also want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. Again, thanks for having us be your first listen. We appreciate it so much here on the podcast or on YouTube. Subscribe to podcast. Dan's going to let you a little bit know about that in a moment. But as you subscribe, as you listen, just know we are fans first and foremost. Daniel shooing away a fly or something?
There's just a fly flying right in front of my face.
Okay.
It's very distracting.
A lot of things are very distracting because we're fans. And we get distracted a lot by fandom type things. We're not a guru or an insider, and we're so happy not to be because we get to talk like fans do, just like you do at your water cooler or at a tailgate or whatnot. So glad you found us here 5 days a week on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Join us at having fun. Don't take ourselves too seriously, nor each other.
That's right. This place is for fans, by fans. That's what the podcast is all about. So if you're a Georgia fan, you're in the right place. If you're feeling particularly negative today, hashtag be more like Danny. And hopefully you're not feeling particularly negative today because there's no reason to be. This is a new team. It's a new era. It's a new day. It is. Speaking of new era, they make a fine Braves hat. But why can we not get New Era to start making Georgia hats? What is happening in the world where we can't get a New Era Georgia hat?
Licensing is the most infuriating thing in the entire world.
That's something I'll be negative about if it's all right.
It's fine by me.
No, we're happy that you're here. If you're listening on the audio podcast version, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, or Apple Podcasts, we're glad that you're there. Subscribe over there. We're 5 days a week. That's where most of you are listening, and we appreciate it very much. Leave us a 5-star rating and review if you like the podcast. Do all those things. That helps us out. Another thing that you can do for us if you're listening on audio is head on over to the YouTube channel. It is new. We're trying it out, and it's been great so far. Gotten great feedback from you guys. We really love interacting with you, having a new platform to interact with you on there. So you can leave us a comment on those videos. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Even if you don't watch it on YouTube every day, go over and click subscribe for us, and that helps us out a bunch. Thanks for doing that, all of you who have done that. Leave us a comment, click thumbs up, hit the bell, whatever it is that you do on YouTube. We greatly appreciate it. As always, lockedonbulldogs@gmail.com is the email address. @Dogs Podcast is the Twitter handle, and we will be happy to correspond with you there. Thank you to all of you who send us hilarious and amazing emails every single day and week. They do get read, and they are appreciated, even if we don't have time to reply.
Also,
to
Greg over on YouTube wants us to
Clint,
let us all know.
We sometimes break it up offense, defense, Monday, Tuesday. But we couldn't help ourselves.
No, we got into a bunch of stuff.
We needed to speak on both subjects yesterday, which means the board is open. I will allow you to have the honors. Take us wherever you'd like to go. What is it that we haven't talked about this team that we need to talk about?
It feels like we've talked about everything ad nauseum, but Daniel, something that I think gets left out a great deal
Okay.
You said it. Last episode. And again, you can tell me it's Vandy. You can tell me it's UAB. You can tell me it's Clemson. And Clemson's not Clemson. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Kendrick and Keely Ringo at cornerback.
Thank you.
Doing just fine. Not even just fine. More than fine. They are holding their own. DK is just playmaker. We knew who he was coming into this. And it turns out he is exactly as advertised. But I'm going to tell you right now, Keely Ringo, he talk about a guy who's going to make light year jumps this season as he gets more playing time, as he gets more comfortable, as we understand who he is. And as we get Tyke back in there, we get some more coverage changes. We get some more options. He's held his own. He knows how to tackle. He has great instincts. He's got raw ability for days, and everybody talking about our secondary being a liability. I don't know what you're watching. Like, quite honestly, I have no concept who you're watching on film, what you're breaking down. They're no longer, Daniel, the weakest part of this team at all.
No. Some would argue they were never the weakest part of this team, but South Carolina came out with a game plan to throw the ball deep down the field, and Vanderbilt had no hope, no prospect of doing that, none whatsoever. Now, I'm not going to sit here and believe that all of those issues are magically fixed, but I think these guys are improving. These guys are getting reps. These guys are, like you said, they're making strides. And listen, while we're talking about the secondary, Clint, what if I told you that the help in the pass defense is coming from maybe the most unlikely of places in the secondary, and that is the guy that you knew was going to be out there, but that you don't necessarily associate with defending the pass.
Maybe the run, maybe being an enforcer on the run game, you might?
Listen, Mr. Lewis Cine has been a hard hitter for his entire career. But if you thought Lewis Cine was Greg Blue 2.0, you mistook him for somebody else. How many games we played in 2021, Clint?
4.
4 games in 2021. What if I told you that in 2 years, 2019 and 2020, 2 full seasons, what if I told you that Lewis Cine had 5 passes broken up, 5 passes defended?
So his first 2 years.
First 2 years, he had 5 passes defended. What if I told you that in 4 games in 2021, he already has 4 passes defended on this young season? Mr. Lewis Cine said, go ahead, throw it over here. Go ahead, throw it over here, because I'll break it up. Hey, I might catch one. I might take one. I might just go ahead and catch one, because he's done that once too already this year. Lewis Cine in the pass defense, really showing his maturity, showing his, dare I say, development as he's come through the Dan Lanning and Kirby Smart system. You love to see that from a young defender. And it just goes to show you, Clint, there's weapons on top of weapons on top of weapons on this team. There's no limit to where we can go defensively. So we got more to talk about. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about it as well. Thank you for listening. Thanks for making it your first listen of the day. And Clint's going to tell you all about Prize Picks, because I think you want to go get a little Brock Bowers touchdown reception, little parlay.
Go make that parlay. Hey, college football fans, Prize Picks is where you want to be. It is daily fantasy made easy. I know it, and I know you, or I love it, and I know you will love it as well. It's a leader in college sports daily fantasy. It offers more college football props than anyone in the world and offers the star players of the Power 5 as well as mid-major players you may not have heard of. You can think of any prop that you can think of, yardage, touchdown, whatever. Go ahead. Like Daniel said, go get a Brock Bowers prop against anything. Just you set the TD number. anything.
Number of
side.
people's lives that Brock Bowers ends over under 1.5 in the Arkansas game.
Sure.
Take the over.
All users can deposit using promo code will receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Daniel, that means whatever you put in up to 100. It means they're going to match it exactly. So you put $100 in. Do you know how much you get at the end of that?
Well, I'm not great at math, but I want to say it's an extra $100.
There it is. $200 if you use the promo code Locked On. You pick 2 to 5 players over under their projections. You can win up to 10 times your entry. Right now, use promo code Locked On at PrizePicks.com or download the app in the App Store or the Google Play Store today. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy.
Also want to tell you about Rock Auto. They are a longtime sponsor of the show, and they're the only place to go to get every part that your car will ever need. Why would you go to an auto parts store who has one part of some of the kinds of things that your car might need when you can go to rockauto.com, which is basically the warehouse that the auto parts store orders from, only you go there directly, which means you save money, you save time, you save convenience, and they ship it directly to your house at a reliably low price. rockauto.com is the full mustache of auto parts retailers. Whatever you need, interior, exterior, cosmetic, or mechanical, you can find it at rockauto.com. Go there right now. Enter the code Locked On in the How'd You Hear About Us section, and that lets them know that we sent you. You get the exact right part that your car needs at a reliably low price, and we get a little love as well, and it helps out everyone. Go to rockauto.com. It's where Clint and I do our shopping for auto parts, and it's where you should as well. rockauto.com, your exact right part that your car needs.
Daniel, I've heard a bunch of the national gurus talk about Georgia, and the headline is the defense, which, by the way, should be.
You lost me when you said national gurus. I stopped listening, to be totally honest.
As everybody should.
Sorry. I'll check back in.
Okay. ESPN and other outlets.
Nope. Let me stop you right there. I stopped listening again.
Gary at CBS.
Oh, no. I've turned the podcast off. I've muted your microphone.
Yep.
And I'm
I'm
reaching for the more you know star.
Here it is. Don't do it. I've learned my lesson. I was trying to goad you into this, Daniel. I was trying to poke the bear. Look, I'm sick and tired of hearing something that Georgia fans are sick and tired of hearing of, and we ourselves somehow are talking about, which just boggles my mind. The quote, we haven't seen it from the offense yet. We're going to give you the defense. Oh yeah, the defense is stellar. It's lights out. It's best in the nation. Yada, 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 yada. But then they come with the the defense is giving it time for the offense to come along. It's going to get there.
People are saying this?
I just watched some 2 buffoons on Twitter that had a backdrop. I wish I stopped listening to them after they said this.
Is that the name of the show? 2 buffoons on Twitter that have a backdrop? Because that's a decent title. That was a working title for this show.
We workshopped that for a long time.
We did.
No, I'm not going to be able to find it.
Talked us out of it.
It was so ridiculously stupid and lame. Here's what I'm sick and tired of hearing. JT Daniels has not. Okay, let me walk you through the progression. Okay. Clemson defense, good. Not great, good. Okay. JT Daniel suffered a oblique injury and played in that game. Okay. Came out, performed admirably, efficiently, did his job. Didn't play next game. Came out and balled out the next 2 in his time that he played. Pinpoint accuracy, throwing balls, deep ball, over 25 yards, over 30 yards, touchdowns. And he hasn't had his full weapon arsenal, and I dare say not a full playbook yet, because the season goes by quarters. Okay. We haven't been needing the whole playbook yet. Todd Monken is messing around doing, Brock Bowers ran the ball for a touchdown. Like, we're handing the ball off to the tight end. By the way, I refuse to call him a tight end. I refuse.
No.
Okay.
Playmaker, weapon, receiver.
I'll take those.
Sure. Just to be clear, listeners, you can hear it. Clint subtly fitting himself for a tinfoil hat right now. just hear the tinfoil starting to crumble.
No, you've misunderstood in totality. If many of the podcast listeners, if you've been with us a long time, I may or may not have I projected my insecurity. I had a psychological breakdown, and I projected my insecurity on the fact that
Clint's on the couch. Now we've gotten finally to the part of the podcast. Clint's been mocking me for my need for therapy for all these years, and now finally he's talking about projecting his insecurities. M-Dubs, you recording this? Are we getting this recorded?
Take it off. No, I'm sick and tired of this because this offense is high octane. If we wanted this week, we're going to see. Because if we needed JT to be JT for a full 60 or full game, Daniel, he'd be there. This offense will be there.
Yeah, 100%. And it's the same way about the running backs. I said that we were going to talk about the running backs on the show, and perhaps you thought that I was going to come on here and maybe this was the part of the podcast where I was going to be a little bit negative. I was going to be a little bit down on the running game and blah, 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 blah. But listen, why do I have to be down? Because let me explain something. Zamir White, our best running back, he had 9 touches against Vanderbilt. 9 touches.
May I?
Yes, go ahead.
Every episode, I feel it necessary when Daniel brings up Zeus, I must make a formal apology. So, formal apology. He's the best running back on this team.
Formal apology has been noted. The committee accepts it.
Thank you.
9 touches, Clint. This guy's got 37 carries through 4 games this season. That's insane. The most carries he had was 13 against Clemson. He's averaging well over 5 yards a carry for the season. Yeah. You give this guy, like in the games that we're going to need him, you're going to see him touch the ball a lot more than he is against UAB. You're going to see a lot less, I predict, a lot less Kenny McIntosh and a lot more Zamir White. Kendall Milton, obviously banged up. We hope that he is recovering swiftly, pun intended, and we hope that he will be back and ready to go as soon as possible. But you're going to see a lot more Zamir. Hopefully, you're going to see a lot more Kendall Milton. Hopefully, you're going to see James Cook being utilized in some ways that are advantageous to him. And in big moments, I think you'll see less Kenny McIntosh, even though Kenny McIntosh is fine, but he is the 4th best running back on this team. And let the record show that is not necessarily disrespectful to him. He might be the 5th best running back on this team. We love Dajon Edwards so much on this podcast.
Dajon Edwards,
know this about us. Like, it's real.
I want
the love affair is real.
If in the 4th quarter we only were able to run 3 different plays and it was Dajon left, Dajon right, and Dajon middle, I'd be fine.
I'll go as far as to say this. At Locked On Bulldogs, if we could get one current Georgia player on this podcast, I think I might choose Dajon Edwards because I think it'd be fascinating to talk to him. Just like about his role and how he feels about it and the team and what it's like competing in this running back room. Like, this kid has got a lot of talent. And he's 5th on the depth chart right now. So the running back room, Clint, is just fine. The offensive line, Clint, I mentioned it last week, and I think we see it even more so this week. The offensive line is just fine on this team. And JT Daniels, in his 5 quarters since getting healthy,
remember that
he's thrown 5 touchdown passes and 1 interception in his 5 quarters since recovering from his injury. 5 touchdown passes.
Did you hear?
We're not waiting on anything for the offense.
Our offense is here. It just so happens you don't like that in a game against Southern Miss, we're not having to go for it on 4th down to cover the spread like we want to. Bama.
Oh, no.
Bama. So Kirby is out here. And by the way, did you hear on the broadcast they were talking about JT's family, how Kirby handled the injury last year? And all you people, oh gosh.
Oh,
you know, Danny, I made you a promise, Danny. I made you a promise, Danny. I'm not going to do this.
Okay.
The family.
How about
JT,
that? The growth, the maturity.
Thank you. Gosh, I am
maturity.
JT and his family appreciated the way that Kirby handled him and said that meant a lot to us. Now, if you don't think that matters to high recruits, that they want to be healthy leaving college as they go pursue a career, if you don't think that matters to them,
Danny, it's difficult.
I'm sorry,
Danny.
It is.
I was under the impression that all the recruits are going to look at is Carson Beck and say, like, I'm never coming to Georgia because of what's happening there.
Nope.
Are we sure that the recruits know who Carson Beck is? I don't know.
I can neither confirm or deny.
We got one more segment. It does not involve Brady Quinn or any yachts. I don't think there'll even be an Urban Meyer reference in the next segment. And so everything is safe. Everything is going to be good to go. We will be back to talk about a big picture. What did we learn from this weekend of college football?
I learned a lot.
We got thoughts about Clemson. We got thoughts about the strength of schedule. We got thoughts about Florida, Tennessee. I mean, you already snuck in an Alabama thought, Clint. You cheated. Don't think I didn't see that.
I did. I couldn't help it.
First, we want to tell you about the fine folks over at BetOnline.ag. They are your online sportsbook experts. They're the place that we go to place all the wagers that we place on college football. And let me tell you, friends, it was a good week for the wagers.
Coming up on Thursday, and we made you money.
Recap, we did fine. BetOnline.ag, if you went there and you followed our advice, you did fine as well. Go there right now. You enter the promo code Locked On. They're going to give you a 100% match on your first deposit, which means free money with which to bet on Georgia. We're going to give you more locks on Wednesday, so go there now, make a deposit, enter the promo code, get yourself set up, and be ready to bet on Major League Baseball, NFL, and, of course, college football, over-under spreads, money lines, parlays, anything that you want about college football. You can do it at betonline.ag, your online sportsbook experts. Okay, Clint. What did we learn from the weekend of college football? This is our chance to sort of stick our head up above the water of the pool of University of Georgia that we're swimming in here and look around the landscape of college football. What did we learn specifically as it relates to the University of Georgia? I believe you had some thoughts on the Florida-Tennessee game, and I'm going to allow you to start there.
If you watched the Florida-Tennessee game, and you didn't come away knowing this, let me educate you.
Okay. What do we need the hang on.
Tennessee and Florida are the same exact team, just one has better defensive players and was at home and has a coaching staff that's been there for more years. Thus ends the differences between the two teams.
Oh no.
Am I scared about any of their passing offense?
No.
Nope.
No.
Do they use gimmicky?
Actually, that kid from Tennessee throws a decent deep ball. He throws a decent deep ball.
Now, the
Joe Milton in the game, I'm not scared of any pass that's ever been thrown, ever, because he might be the worst quarterback in the history of quarterbacks.
Bo Nix begs to differ. Oh no! Do
we have to wait to talk about Georgia State? They rolled the trees in Toomer's Corner after they beat Georgia State in a game that they were trailing in the fourth quarter.
In a game that they should have lost because that was a dropped pass. So,
Auburn fans, next week.
We know you're here. You're starting to filter, and I know you are.
Are you here yet? Can we get the guys in Locked On Auburn to comment on the Georgia State game? Are they here?
Ooh, no. Actually, Daniel, hold on.
We don't have them. We lost the connection.
The line is just.
We lost the connection. No, Florida doesn't scare me.
Nope.
Florida does not scare me.
Let me state again. You make the line, Vegas. Mm-hmm. I will take our side plus minus whatever you want to give us. Minus whatever you want to give us. I'll take it.
If they play that game today, Clint,
Mm-hmm.
what's the line? Arkansas is 18.5. What's the line?
Vegas would put it down to what it should be, or what Vegas would put it at.
Now I'm wanting to know what it will
What
be.
it should be?
If
Oh,
they
what it will
played
be.
it right now. Is it? It's under 2 touchdowns?
Yeah, it's 12.5. It might be 11.
I just bet it all.
All the money that I have in my betting account goes for us covering that spread.
Bet it all. What can I get? What kind of a juice can I get on betting on an exact score of 41-0? Can I get what kind of a juice could I get on that?
Y'all, Florida don't scare me one bit.
Here's what I learned this weekend in college football. And Georgia fans, listen up. Danny, that includes you.
Oh,
Trevor, if you're out there, I'm talking to you too.
literally.
Clemson is bad.
There it is.
And it's okay. Listen to me.
Why is it okay?
Okay. We don't need Clemson to be good, Georgia fans. Do you understand? We're the best team in the country.
There it is.
We don't need help getting into the playoff. We don't need strength of schedule to get us in. Mark Richt is not walking through that door. We're not looking for a strength of schedule argument to get us into the playoff.
Nope.
Do you understand? Everyone has been watching football. They see Oklahoma.
Bad.
They see Ohio State.
Bad.
They see Oregon.
Bad.
Watch out for Stanford this weekend, Oregon. Down on the farm. Watch out for Stanford down on the farm. Okay. We don't need Clemson to be good. They're not good. They're bad. Stop trying to justify Georgia fans that Clemson's good.
All we need to do.
Okay.
Win.
All we're going to do, counterpoint. Win.
That's
Okay.
it.
We don't need Clemson. We thought that was going to be a feather in our cap at the end of the year. It turns out we will be one of Clemson's 3, if they don't bench DJ soon, maybe 4 losses on this season.
He's not good.
He's bad.
He's not good.
Not good. He's awful.
Like
at playing quarterback. NC State was doing the same things to him that we were doing.
Yes, sir.
Clint. And again, Georgia fans, I'm not stuttering when I say that, and I'm not feeling the need to explain myself to you because you don't have to be defensive about this team. Do you know what? If somebody questions you about Georgia this year, your team, you do not have to argue with them. Do you know what all you have to say is? Did you watch the games? Do you watch football? Because if so, then you know what I know about Georgia. Have we played you yet? If not, maybe don't talk about Georgia. Just wait.
Just
because
we'll get to you in a moment.
We'll get there. So we don't need Clemson to be good. And it's a good thing we don't need Clemson to be good because they are bad. Dabo doesn't believe more than 4 teams deserve to be in the playoff because there are not more than 4 good teams. How's that going to play out if Clemson's got 2 losses going into the South Carolina game? What's Dabo going to be talking about?
Oh, no, Dabo.
Oh, no.
Here's something else I learned. Cincinnati's making the playoff.
No. Disagree. Hard disagree. Talk to me on locks. But Cincinnati's losing this weekend to Notre Dame.
I don't care if they're losing this weekend.
You think a 1-loss Cincinnati is going to make the playoff? Not a chance on your life.
Okay.
Not a chance in your life.
Okay.
Listen, a non-Power 5 team has never made the playoff.
I understand this.
Besides Notre Dame, obviously.
I understand.
Cincinnati has to be undefeated, and they won't be ahead of any undefeated Power 5 team. Any.
Here's a question. How many undefeated teams go into the playoff?
One, I understand that. But what I'm saying to you is they won't, if they're undefeated and they're not ahead of any other undefeated team, then it means if they have one loss, they won't be ahead of any other one-loss Power 5 team. Now, are you telling me, Clint, that there are not going to be 3 one-loss Power 5 teams at the end of the season? Are you telling me that Cincinnati is going to beat out Alabama with one loss to go to the college football playoff? Are you telling me that Cincinnati is going to beat out Oklahoma with one loss to go to the playoff? No.
I think Oklahoma's going to have 2 losses.
Well, you're betting on Oklahoma, Ohio State, Oregon, all having 2 losses.
It's the Pac-12. Who the heck knows?
Listen, it ain't. Cincinnati's not going to make the playoff.
All right.
Notre Dame, on the other hand, is going to make the playoff. The winner of the game. I will tell you this. I will agree with you in this much. The winner of the game this weekend has the number 1 Las Vegas odds of making the playoff, even ahead of Georgia and Alabama, because the winner of the game this weekend has no more games. And all they have to do is win all but one of them against their nobody schedule. They could even lose the game and still make it into the playoff as a 4 seed at the end of the year.
That's right. That's right.
So the winner of the game this weekend is going to the college football playoff.
Did you learn anything else? Nope.
Nah. I mean, I learned that Georgia has the best team still.
Best team. We're going to have thoughts about Arkansas. Like, I learned some things about Arkansas and A&M and SEC. Like, I learned those things, but I'm going to hold off on
my Arkansas thoughts till tomorrow, because tomorrow we get into breaking down Arkansas. It's the first opponent during the regular season, since the preseason episodes of Clemson. It's the first opponent that we actually get to break down and talk about.
We got some studying to do, and we've studied.
Yeah, we're here. We're ready for it. So come back tomorrow. We'll be talking all about Arkansas. We'll be talking about what they do well, what they do poorly, how they match up against the Georgia team. We'll be talking about College game day and which Chili's Asher and I are going to be at, and all sorts of things to come. So tune in tomorrow, and we will talk to you guys then.
See ya.